Hey everybody, this video, I have this OS-23 sawmill from Frontier, okay, and when I bought it, I got it on sale, and they were supposed to send me a 10 horsepower unit. They sent me a 7, so I took it back. And they did some dicking around trying to put a 10 horse motor on this. The clutch bearing's gone in it. So I don't really think it's from use. But this bearing, I don't know, well, I'm going to turn the camera again. There we go. This bearing, you can see that? Yeah, this is in here, this is all rusty. I have no idea why, and there's a lot of pitch stuck to this belt for some reason. I did have an issue in the beginning, right down in, where's my hand? Right there. So right in here, this had bars in it, and the bars were catching all the sawdust, and they weren't letting it go out. So I took those bars out. It seemed to be cutting okay then. And then now the belt was overheating doing that. It was just jamming up there in a big pile. So I figured, okay, well, so I did that. That seemed to fix that problem. Now this, when you run it, just for, it was maybe 2 feet into the log, trying to go through a knot, and it just jammed up on me. So I'm going to take it off, see what's going on, and probably go down to Frontier and get another bearing, it'd be clutch bearing. Make sure this is loose. Take that bar off. Okay, undo this nut. Now, I don't really think there's anything wrong with this blade, because like I said, I've only done 300 feet. There shouldn't really be anything wrong with it. Okay. There we go. Now, this belt, this unit here, they said they filmed one commercial with it. Look at that. Just from the heat. Right? That belt's pretty fucked. So, oh, the socket that's fitting these is a 5/8. So you got your bolt, your washer. There's a nice bearing there. Look at that. That cup come off. That's a segmented clutch, and this part looks full of shit. Look at this. See this stuff here? Look at that. It's breaking down. Now, look at that. I didn't even need my puller. Now there's a spacer there, Okay, and then you got your, oh, can you see my finger? Okay, so there's a spacer in here, and that shaft is there. Look at the chunks. See the chunks? And there's this. That's weird. That is so weird. But when you're looking at this, I can see this is like that. That's like that. And when you turn this around, something's going on. That's for sure. Something's definitely going on. And the woodruff crease looks good. But there's something too. You can see the wear marks in here. Might have been put on backwards. Is this the way this is wore in here? That. It doesn't look right. Doesn't look right at all. So we got that, this. Now, I'm going to take this whole thing down and find out what's going on, because maybe there should have been another spacer there. So that, because that there is cutting in. See this here? Well, you can see that this here is that wear mark right there. So was this bearing turning, or was it just sitting still and this was spinning on it? That is the question. So, it's going to be a trip down to Frontier, talk to them, and I'm just going to zoom. There. Now you don't have to look at my ugly mug too much. Anyways, gonna have to go down to Frontier, see what they say about these parts, so I can get some new parts. And I think a new belt is warranted. Basically, the new belt, and go from there. So hopefully it won't be too long. I'll be back and putting the belt on. We'll see you in a bit. Okay, so that was a trip to Barrie, which is about 45 minutes south of here. So, takes what it takes. Stopped and had lunch because guys got to eat. I know I could miss a few meals, but hey. Anyways, we're going back into this thing. I got all the parts. Okay, yeah, too close. So, first things first, it was put together a little bit wrong. Can't really knock the guy that did it. He's not a mechanic. Oh, he's a salesman. Working with a mechanic, but they were in a hurry. And shit just happens sometimes. So, I took the bearing apart there, talked to the one guy, and he basically said, yeah, the way it's wrapped up is the way it's supposed to go. So when you take the bearing out, you got a cup It's already rusty on the inside. I'm going to put a little bit of stuff in there. Nice grease. Then it's got a spacer. And then it's got this part here. See that? See this? The screws go away from this piece and they sit in the cup like that. And this is supposed to travel back and forth a bit. Well, it wasn't traveling back and forth a bit because the spacer was put in the wrong spot, so it wasn't working right. Luckily, the shaft and everything looks okay, so I'm going to give it a layer of grease, which is good old finger licking time. This is just ordinary bearing grease. I've had this for probably, I don't know, 25 years. Never. I bought a bunch of it, and it just doesn't seem to go down much because you're only putting a little bit on at a time. You just want a thin layer just so stuff's not going to rust on there, because this is outside. I do put a cover on it. The covers are only so good. I use a wood splitter cover because it's cheap. Now I'm going to put this on, line up the woodruff key part. Oh, I'm going to get grease on this, and I'm going to go get my dead blow. So you guys just hang in there for a minute, and I'll go get my dead blow, and I'll give that a love tap. There we go. That's pretty snazzy. I'll put that ring on like thus. That throws in and out. And I think this is where they got a little concerned. This pulley doesn't have a woodruff key hole in it. So, clutch. So what keeps the fucking pulley okay, that goes there. That. I'm going to put just a thin layer of grease on this because I don't like the rust. Okay, I have no idea how that works now. Clutch must throw out and catch on this. Greasing that would be a bad thing. Let's take the grease back out of that. And I'll just leave a thin layer to burn off. So I guess as that speeds up, the clutch fires around, throws it out, catches that hub, and turns the mill. So I'm going to put this on low, forward, That's on there. Okay. Now, brand new belt. Like that. So for future reference, that is a B73 or a B73 or 5L760. You can see that. Okay. Move that over here. Now, it's going to take I think that's not too bad. Okay. Believe it or not, that is the that may be a little tighter. Okay. That's the lock nut tight. There's about, not even a finger thickness of deflection. Should be okay. Now, we got to go with a new belt or new blade. I'll be right back with that. This will officially be my third blade on the mill. The first blade, I bent it while we were setting the mill up. It spit off on me. The wheels weren't lined up quite right. It spit off. When it spit off, the way it hit, it bent. So needless to say, that's never good. Oh, we got there, flush with the back of the wheel. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cranks. She's tight. Okay, think we're good. I think we're good. So let's do a little backstory here. I'm going to release the tension on the blade because I'm not going to mill right now. I don't have any logs. Well, I have logs. They're up in the bush cut. I just got to get them down. I got too many irons in the fire. I go down to Norwood and I buy a Sawmill, 23-inch, 10-horse Sawmill, Frontier. They turn around, the one that was on display that I said I would take, but I wanted a 10-horse motor, not. So what I was insinuating was I wanted that size mill with the 10-horse motor. So when they shipped it out, they shipped me the mill that was on display. And it had a 7-horse on it. And I said, no, read my bill. It's supposed to be the 23-inch with a 10-horse motor. So they said, well, bring it back and we'll ship it back and we'll change the motor. I said, no, I'll bring it down. So I used tractor, put it in the back of the truck, took it back, and I sat in the parking lot waiting while they were doing it. Because I figured, oh, how hard is it to swap a motor? You pull that bearing I just changed, undo the 4 bolts, undo a couple of wires, slap back across, and it's done, right? No. They'd have to modify the whole housing that the blade runs on. You'd either have to cut it larger because the shaft is in a different spot, or put a different housing on. So they said, well, here, we'll give you this head that we were taking the motor off of, and we'll give you the whole head. So they took it apart, reassembled it, and put it in the back of the truck, and away I went. Well, apparently when they did that, they put the one shim in the wrong spot, near as I can figure, because the way it come from the factory, when they handed me the new part, the guy down there today said, this is the way it's in the package, this is the way it goes on the machine. So that's the way I installed it. Now, I got a good price for the machine, and the customer service down there is awesome. They're great people, really good people. I will not knock them for that. I just, sometimes it's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong for me. And that's just how it works. But hopefully I'll find out in a week or so if I can get a log down. Like I said, I got 3 trees down right now, so that's like 6 logs. All varying in sizes. There won't be a lot of lumber in them because they're not very big trees. The idea of me buying the sawmill in the first place, I need to thin the place out, and there's trees growing too tight together, and they're growing on rock. And because they're on rock, they're fighting each other for growth. So let's take out the bigger trees, give the smaller trees a chance to get bigger. And if you buy into all that carbon pollution bullshit, then what I'm doing is I'm taking out an older tree, giving the younger trees a chance to grow and take more carbon out of the air. So, plus it makes the bush healthier. You know, it makes it more vibrant. Some of the decaying pieces we leave behind, animals live in. They did a study in Germany because everybody was picking up every friggin' piece of wood because they weren't allowed to cut any trees. So they were picking up all sorts of pieces of wood to stay warm. So the forests got picked clean of all the branches that were down, and they found that the grubs and stuff were not growing. They weren't staying, which meant that some of the mice weren't staying, which meant some of the owls didn't stay, which totally screwed up the whole ecosystem. So you have to have some debris, but it should be, still cleaned up, not too bad. Then you got the other aspect of is you don't let it clean up, you just let it go wild, and you got too much underbrush and stuff like that. And as it dies, because it chokes each other out, then you end up with a whole bunch of dead stuff. When you got a whole bunch of dead stuff, now you got a whole bunch of fuel for fires. And I already had one fire this year. I don't want another one. And if I ever caught who did that, I would have them charged. That being said, I just picked up a boat and a boat trailer. I'm going to strip the boat and get rid of the boat. It's been sitting too long. But the trailer, I'm going to turn that into a log arch. So that will make the trailer that I worked on last year to make a log arch out of it, which means I can put it back to just a dedicated trailer. I'm going to show you what I did with it later. Because my whole thing is getting the logs out of the bush down to the mill or down to the house for firewood without collecting a whole bunch of mud. And if I can do most of the work down here with the sawing and stuff, then I can do it at my leisure and not up in the bush where all the bugs are bad. And I can get in and out of the bush fairly quick. And then all I got to do is chip my mess up and leave the chippings for other things, right? So that's my plans. Hopefully everything works out. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I didn't make it too long. If you have any questions, please comment. It's a new channel. I probably will have time to comment. I'm not doing anything else. So like and subscribe. Like everybody says, it helps the channel. And like I said, I'm new. It's going to take a while to get all these videos out, but when I do, there's going to be a whole bunch come out all at once, probably within a week of each other, as I've been filming for a year off and on, and haven't produced anything yet. I'm having discussions with my editor. So hopefully everything works out good. We get everything produced properly. Like I say, questions, I'll try to answer. If you need something milled and you're in the area, let me know. I may or may not agree to it. I'm building another trailer on top of the other ones to be able to go out and pick logs up and bring them back here to saw up. So there you go. If I do anything that you don't like, let me know. Maybe I can figure out some better way to do it, or a way not to upset you too much. And on that note, everybody take care.